There are three things that end up happening when you waste time and you don't redeem the time. The first thing that happens is that, well, like I said before, you're going to end up wasting your life, because wasting time is wasting life, because life is time. Your life is measured in time. That's why we call it a lifetime. To die simply means to be removed from time. To live means to be in time. And so if you're wasting time, you're wasting life. If somebody lives 75 years, that life was measured in 75 years of time, a 75-year span. And so wasting time is wasting your life. There's no greater mistake than, as far as natural and finite resources are concerned, than wasting time. You can waste money and get it back. You can waste food and get it back. You can waste water and get it back. But if you waste time, you cannot get it back. I can lose $20, walk over to my friend's house and find $20 on the floor. I can't walk to my friend's house and pick up 5 years. Oh my God, look, there's 5 years. Let me go and redo some mistakes I made. Nah. If you wasted 5 years, the 5 years are gone. If you waste $5, I can get $5 back. This is very powerful and very important. Redeeming the time. Redeeming the time. That's the first thing that happens when you don't redeem the time, is that you end up wasting your life. You end up expending energy doing a bunch of things that don't actually help you to accomplish the objective for which God put you in the earth for. Before you watched TV, before you watched Netflix, before you took 55 different vacations, there was a reason for which God put you in the earth in the first place. Before you did all these activities, God had a purpose for putting you on the earth. See, so here's God, here's you, and here's activities. Before you did these activities, God had an idea for putting you on the earth. And when you don't use your time effectively, that idea won't be actualized. You'll be doing a bunch of things that have nothing to do with the objective of your life. It is like taking a test, a math test, and instead of answering the questions, you write a bunch of poems on the side of the paper. No matter how eloquently written the poems are, you're going to fail the test. Because you didn't do what the test told you to do, you did what you felt like doing. That's what can happen with your life. You can end up doing a bunch of things that God never assigned you to do, and you'll be at the end of your life looking back at what you've done and realizing that everything was futile. It was vanity. That you lived a life, you went on many vacations, you saw many friends, you did many things, but the world is not going to benefit from anything that God put inside of you because you wasted time doing things that don't matter. That's the first thing that happens, you waste your life. The second thing that happens is that you end up living a life and dying that nobody will remember. Because those that we remember are only the people that lived their life to serve the world that they were born into. If I name a bunch of great men right now, the first thing that will pop in your mind is what they did for the world. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs. The first thing that rings in your mind is what they did. What Gandhi did for India, what Steve Jobs did for technology, what Albert Einstein did for science, and what Martin Luther King did for Black Americans. It's always the reason why you remember these men after they pass away is what they gave to the world. When you do not use the finite resources of time well, and you waste time doing things that are not helping to accomplish the ultimate objective of your life, you will die and nobody will remember you. And that's very tragic. And I'm not being sarcastic at all. That's what the reality is going to be. We only remember those who live life serving the world. History never remembers selfish people. If you live life for yourself, you're going to die by yourself. And only people that will remember you will be your immediate family. And that's because, well, they're your family. They don't really have a choice. But those that have a choice and can choose who they will remember will use that mental capacity to remember people that actually impacted their life in a great way. Nobody knows what Steve Jobs' hobbies were or what vacations he went on. We don't care. What we care is his contribution to the world that we now live in. I'm currently recording this video on an iPhone which is owned by a company called Apple that he founded. So his life and his contribution to this world will be immortalized, or at least will span a long period of time, because what he has done for the world has great impact and influence on our life. The third thing that happens when you do not redeem your time, listen very carefully. I said the first one is that you end up wasting your life. The second one is that you die and you will not be remembered. The third thing that happens when you do not redeem your time is ultimately that you will not be rewarded for the life that you lived. Listen very carefully. Rewards only follow accomplishment of assignment. Listen very carefully. This is so important. Rewards only follow accomplishment of assignment. The teacher rewards you with an A+ if you did the assignment well. It is possible to stand before Jesus Christ and have nothing to show for your life. That you stand before Jesus Christ and you end up having to realize that everything that he called you to do, you didn't actually do. You did everything else but what he called you to do, and there could be no reward. And so you'll be one of those people that enter into heaven barely, as by the fire. When we test your work and everything you did in the earth, none of it was built upon the foundation of divine inspiration. In other words, you didn't do what God created you to do. You did what you felt like doing in the earth.